Yeah. So as a consul general, I'm responsible to provide the consular services and those Indians who are living in the states of Hessen, North Rhine-Westphalia, Rhineland-Palatinate, where you belong, and Saarland. So these are the four states which I look after in Germany. So my responsibility, of course, is to promote the relations between these four states and India. So it includes trade, it includes investment, it includes contacts between people, culture, to let you know what India is and to let Indians know what these states do, what is their specialty. So that is the part of my work.
Okay, great. Why is it so important to strengthen the economic and business ties between Germany and India?
Germany is a very, I would say, a very strong economy, a very developed economy. You have strengths in terms of, as one of the biggest country in terms of exports. You have a lot of specialties in terms of, uh, engineering in different fields, automobiles. So many of these sectors are of interest to us. And in the same way, India also has a lot of strengths, like in IT, we have in some areas in management. So I think if people know about each other, it's very important. And the most important reason why Germany and India they have close partnership is because both the countries are democracies. We have a lot of respect for democracy. We have a lot of respect for freedom of expression. So all these things, we have very similar. We have a lot of similarities in terms of the political system as well. We also have very strong federal structure as you have in Germany. So there's so many similarities, and that is why it is very important for the two countries to know about each other and we can work with each other.
Yeah. And what do you do concretely to strengthen intercultural understanding between India and Germany?
Yeah, between India and Germany, the relationship in terms of the cultural exchanges go back many centuries. Many of our ancient texts, for example, religious texts and all, they were translated from the Indian languages into German and various European languages. So we have a very famous scholar, you would know about him, Max Müller, Friedrich Max Müller. He may not be much known in Germany because he worked more from United Kingdom, but nevertheless he was a big scholar in terms of ancient Indian culture, and therefore we already have those strong cultural links which go back many centuries back. And even now there are different universities who are working in the field of Indology, in the field of culture, in terms of religious understanding. And many of our countries, we also encounter this kind of a very specific issue about intercultural exchanges, to have understanding about among different religions, to know about different religions, how those religions, the value system and all that. So it's very important that we know about different cultures and different religions. Like in Germany, also in India, we people think that it's only one religion, Hinduism. That's not correct. We have multiple religions. We have Christianity, we have Islam, we have Buddhism. In fact, three world religions originated in India. One is Buddhism, one is Jainism, and the third is, we also have very strong, which of course originated in Persia, but then it grew in India, which is called Zoroastrianism. So these are also in terms of religious diversity. Also, India has a lot to offer, and therefore it is very important for us to have this intercultural exchanges.
Why is a close interaction with the Indian students in German universities and educational institutions so important to the Consulate General of India?
You are our future. Our students, our youth, you are basically the driving force about how the relationship between our two countries will flourish in the coming years. So if there is better exchange, better understanding amongst, say, different schools, colleges, institutions, then it helps in building the bonds of friendship, and that is how the relationship between the two countries will grow. And over and above that, also it's a very globalized world where we live in. So there's a lot of interdependence. During the COVID times also, you would have seen how everything got affected, because we are so closely linked, we are very closely linked. And therefore it is very important that we focus on students, on colleges, university exchanges. That is how the relationship will be built further.
So I read about you that you graduated from medical college in 2003. So you just studied medicine, didn't you?
Yeah, I did study medicine, and after that, of course, I decided to change my profession. I also worked as a doctor for a few years, but then I thought that it is a more interesting profession. As a diplomat, I'll get to see the world, I'll get to meet people from different nationalities and all. So that is how I shifted from medicine to diplomacy.
And what made you come to Germany and work here as a consul general? And when did you start working here?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I studied little bit of German when I was a school student, but of course that was only Guten Tag and Guten Morgen. I didn't really study much, but I was always interested in knowing about Germany. So when I joined the diplomatic service, each one of us and the diplomats, they're supposed to choose a language to learn and a country where we specialize. So when I joined, I was given the option. I chose German because I was already introduced to the language. So I studied German in Berlin, and then I started working in our embassy in Berlin. So that is how I developed the fascination for your country. And I enjoy because now I have sort of worked for more than 5 years at that time, and then I'm here again to learn more about your country and to know more about the people here in Germany.
Which one does she asked about when did you join?
When did I join? I joined in 2005, and I came to Germany for the first time in 2007. And since then, of course, my association with Germany continues.
And what is it that fascinates you about the Indian Foreign Service?
Indian Foreign Service, like any other diplomatic service, we have the opportunity to visit different countries, to understand their culture, their political systems, how they approach a particular problem, how they sort of in terms of trade, economics, culture, so many fields. So in terms of Indian Foreign Service, that opportunity is there because we know each one of us, we encounter these kind of different situations where we have to work and build friendship between the two countries. So that's the most enjoyable part of this profession.
So what do you think about our Gandhi bust? Do you think it is fitting? Do you think it is well done?
Yes, yes, of course. And the as I read there, it is this bust was prepared by one of the most famous artists in India. His name is Ram Sutar. If you read, you can see his name there. So he's a very famous artist, very respected in India, and it's a very nice bust of Gandhiji. We call him Gandhiji, or we call him Mahatma Gandhi, and sometimes he's also affectionately called as Bapu, which is father. So he's father of our nation. We also Indians consider him as father of the nation. So I think the message of Gandhiji is also there, written on the bust, and it's a message of peace. It's a message of universal brotherhood. This message, I think, has universal relevance in every country, in every culture, and unless and until we respect, peace, understanding, and universal brotherhood, the world cannot be the same. We can have, differences of opinion. We could have different faith, different religions. But everyone has to work together. That is how peace and understanding will develop. And I think that is the message which is given uh, by when this bust was installed in your school. And we are really grateful that you have so nicely preserved it. And I hope that is also helping you to understand more about his message and his work.
Do you see Gandhi also as a role model, especially for the Indian international relationships?
You mean to say Mahatma Gandhi as a role model?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Mahatma Gandhi is a role model for anyone who believes in peace, in tolerance, and in universal brotherhood. And he of course was a very staunch believer of non-violence, which is very important, especially in the world today when we see many people sometimes resort to violent means towards achieving uh, their goal or their objective. There's an importance. If there is injustice, if there is something which you don't accept, there is an importance. It is very important that you oppose that. You should not allow anything wrong to happen. But what Gandhiji said, that even if you object to something, you should never resort to force. You should not use violence as a means to achieve your goal. and that was his message. So I think this peaceful, non-violent way of protest is also very important to convey your message, to express your difference of view or opinion, but also ensure that whatever is done is done in a very peaceful manner. So that's basically the beauty of Gandhiji's message, which is very important, I think, not only now, anytime. It's a universal message which will probably be important forever.
Do we still have time?
No.
We have to go? Sorry.
Okay, then thank you very much.
If you have
Thank
just
you
one
very
more
much.
question, you can.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, like one concluding message
Yes.
could be, like, is there anything you would like to say to our students and
Yes.
readers of the school newspaper?
No, I would once again like to emphasize that, as students, you are our future. You are the generation which is going to determine how the world will look after, say, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. So it's very important that you also understand uh, how other cultures are, how other religions are, and how people in other parts of the world they live, what their aspirations are, how they want to develop their world, because this collective impression will be very important in terms of future development of our world. So I think you should interact more often, and I think you have a lot of options. Even if you cannot visit India, you can always do online search. We will be in a position to also help you if you want to interact with your fellow students in India. You interacted with those who are in south of India, but you can interact people in the east, north, west as well. So you should interact more, have friendships, because these friendships only will be helpful in building a more ideal world.
Thank you very much.